What's up, everybody? We are here. We're doing Mama's Boys episode number 3, and I have Allison and Jordan Pfeiffer.
Thank you for having us.
No, it's great.
Thank you.
It's good because I know you guys as your story is interesting. There's not a more verbal woman than this person. No. I don't like. Yeah. She's one of the ones that like. I sat there when I was coming up with the concept, right? I'm like sitting there going like, who are some of the moms that I really want to get the juicy juice stuff from? Like, oh, she's gonna be, she's got stories. This one's got stories. So Jen was obviously one of them. Girl, Tashara was one. She's over at Sunnyside, obviously Jen in Mountain View. But like it's just all over the place, kind of interesting. So I was like, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go ahead and get you guys on here. So I wanted to hear parents' stories, mom stories about obviously the involvement with their children going through the high school years, if not just your whole football career. Obviously now you going off into college where you're at Carroll.
Yep. Yeah,
we're rocking the orange for Carroll right now.
Sure thing.
Even though this is probably one of the worst colors for a fat man to wear, because I look like the 76 ball. For those who know, right?
I try to stay away from orange. It's not my color wheel.
Not on top of that. I got burnt, so I'm gonna take these off. Not only that, I was up at the Lake Forest showcase yesterday and talking to parents and everything like that, and I got burnt. Like it's no joke. I'm like, you know how it is. Like you go out and all of a sudden I got red and orange going. It's not good.
I missed the camp, but not that much. That was one of the first ones we did, and that was rough. It's hot out there.
It reminds. Did you do track?
Yeah, I did. I was supposed to do it all 4 years, but I did it 3. So
right. Yeah. You know how when you go to a track event, and it's like every school's represented, and you got parents in the stands, and everybody's here, and they're walking on. It's just like organized chaos.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's what football camps remind me of.
A little bit, yeah.
Because you have these kids that come out with all their school, jerseys and stuff like that, or they're from this school, and then next thing you know, they're all wearing it becomes a sea of red because they're all wearing the camp shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah, until the end, and then everybody's half naked because they're dying because it's hot.
And not only that, it's like the camps at what? It started around 11 o'clock or something like that, whatever. It's like prime time hotness, you know what I mean?
Well, especially in Phoenix.
In Phoenix, on turf.
Yeah, most of the camps are up in Phoenix, so
right.
It gets pretty hot up there.
And I felt bad because I'm sitting with these moms at the end, right? We're out walking with our kids because I'm like, hey, make sure they take pictures and all this other stuff. And my feet are burning in the few minutes that I'm out there. Mm-hmm. I'm like, these poor son of bitches out here with their cleats on, their plastic cleats going. And then they're diving into the
turf.
Yeah, the turf, the little rubber. I'm like, man, God bless your soul, bro. God bless your soul.
His shit melted in. I'm sorry, I said that.
Oh, I don't care.
Okay. At what was it, ACU?
I went through 3 pairs of cleats between ACU and Lake Forest wasn't bad, but I can't remember where the other one was.
That one was at Pinnacle, though. That was grass.
Okay, yeah, because
I think
Lake Forest was hot, but it didn't burn my cleats up. At ACU, because when I went there for those camps, they had just put in that new turf.
Right.
So, they had just tons of rubber on the grass. So,
and you're torching. Your feet are like, help me.
I had blisters all over my feet.
Did you go to the pool afterwards? And
I went to bed. I just went to bed.
Right? You just crashed. You're like, I don't give a shit.
Dude, I had him and another young kid in the car. Forgot who we had with us from Sahuaro. Ethan from Sahuaro.
Right.
They were assed out in the back seat the whole way home.
Done.
They were cooked.
It's a lot.
So, going to camps, all right, I'm going to bring this up. You said you just took Ethan, right?
Yeah, we had taken Ethan.
One of the things just yesterday while I was sitting there preaching to some of these parents is that it's really sad that the camps are sometimes the opportunities for these kids to be seen. If not be seen, at least be educated or informed about schools. Like you, for example, you learned about Hastings College when you went to the Lake Forest camp. Like, is what you're going to kind of tell me there is that if you guys never saw a flyer, if somebody like Rodney didn't help you out in knowing some of these things, you'd never go. Yet I go up there and I see this, like, this time actually had a lot more Southern Arizona presence to it. But I was sitting there going, like, there's 25 high schools in Tucson alone. 25. If each one of them would send 5 to 10 kids,
Crazy, yeah.
you got 250 kids representing Southern Arizona, taking reps, getting in front of coaches, and so on. And not only that, if a college or if a high school coach went with the kids, let's say, for instance, you were under McKee's regime kind of thing or whatever, right? So if McKee goes up there with like 5 to 10 kids from Sahuaro, and McKee's talking to those coaches and saying, hey, how do I get your guys' information, connections, so on and so on, or hey, how do I get, this is one of our kids right here coming up right now, or something like that, kind of helping out with soliciting the kids from that school. All of a sudden that helps. And we're not doing that.
No, the only way I found out, because I wasn't with Rodney for
Right.
the Lake Forest. I met Rodney at Lake Forest when Jordan was out there. The only way I knew about Lake Forest was because of you. The school never told us, the coaches never told us, so I had no knowledge. But finding you through Facebook and you posting those is how we ended up going to Lake Forest and signed up for it. And then that just spread into Rodney and everything. But yeah, I mean, the first camp that we took him to, he got an offer right off the bat from Hastings. I mean, I know that I will say that, to be honest, they were aware of him prior to the camp.
Right.
Because Scotty he had a relationship with, I believe it was the head coach, if I'm not mistaken. But, I mean, they came out to that camp and saw Jordan's performance, and that's when they gave him the offer. But, yeah, we wouldn't have had any knowledge had it not been for you.
It also helps that you kind of fit the box that they're looking for.
Yeah, sure.
So, like, go ahead. What's your stat? Like,
About 6'4", 240-ish right now. So, I mean.
Right.
But at the time, I was still growing as a junior going into my senior year. So, I mean, I was about 6'3", 220-ish. So, I mean.
Okay.
For what they were recruiting me for was good. So, I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, it becomes harder, obviously, when you don't match the box. Like you're saying you were 6'3", 220.
Right.
And you're playing at that time, you were playing on which position in a row?
Defensive end and tight end, but they recruited me for tight end. So.
Right. So you got a good sized box on you.
Right.
And then what people don't understand is, like, as we get closer to, like, hey, look, you're a little shorter, you're 5'10" or stuff like that. Now you got to be even that much better talented wise to kind of be like, hey, look, check me out, because you got to be a stud. But if you're not putting yourself in front of the opportunities to be seen by a coach or learning how to find that connection to coaches, and one of the things you were telling me earlier was like Twitter played a huge role for you.
Massive role in his recruiting, and I'll definitely let him chime in on that too. But he is not a social media kid. Wants nothing to do with social media. He'll look at it.
Well, that's because you posted enough pictures of him for him. Like, I know that for a fact.
Oh yeah. I'm proud. I've got every reason to be proud of him. But he wanted no part of it, and I said, if you want to make it, you're gonna have to get on social media.
Right.
The right way. Don't be posting stupid stuff. Don't be, I said, but you've got to strictly focus on putting your name out there, because that's where they're searching. And he was like, and sure enough, as soon as he opened that Twitter account, or he had it, but as soon as he became active on it and started posting, instantly. I mean, I want to say, so Hastings' offer came in first. We signed up with Rodney, I want to say a week after that. And then within 2 days of being on Twitter with Rodney's help and assistance,
Right.
shout out to Game Time, by the way, he had offers coming in. He had 1 or 2 a week for months.
So let me ask you this question. All right. Obviously, we all know about kids who obviously you got to put your time in the classroom.
Right.
Obviously, you got to put your time out on the football field. How much time do you put into your social media Twitter game?
I mean, it's a big thing because, with all these colleges, and depending on where what region you want to kind of go to, really kind of depends on certain things. Like, if you want to stay close, I mean, getting open visits and going to see these colleges and coaches is a lot easier. But for a guy like me, where I wanted to venture out into, like, the Midwest, I mean, the only way to get in touch with those coaches is by phone call or Twitter. So, I mean, posting everything, I mean, it could be lifting, it could be just your highlight tape, making sure that's out at all times. If a coach texts you or sends you something, Or if you're even going to a camp, making sure you're posting that, letting other coaches know that you're going to be at that camp. I mean, it's huge. So, I mean, it's not something that I did every single day, but I mean, when you're in contact with coaches, they're gonna hit you up on there. And I mean, I hear it all the time from other college coaches. I mean, if you're vacant in your Twitter game or your social media game, I mean, you're not going to get offers. You're not going to get looked at.
Right.
I mean, they're going to send you a message. If you don't respond in like a week or two, I mean, they're on to the next guy. I mean, it's a whole pool of guys. So, I mean, Twitter's pretty big.
Right. So, I mean, it's difficult because, like, I try to tell people, it's like, be clear. Be informative at the same time clear. Like in your bios, make sure you're posting your height, weight. You know, if you got your a good GPA that you want to kind of solicitate, post that. You know, any other sports, like you were doing track, posting those kind of things, those attributes in your bio and stuff like that. And then having that link to your huddle film and stuff like that, all on your Twitter account. Because what people don't understand sometimes about Twitter is that it's literally your storefront. And you're the product that you're trying to sell out of it. So if you're going to throw a bunch of junk posts, then realize they're going to sit there and go, oh, this is junk. I don't want to see this. Right. You know, because they're getting notifications. And the tag game, we all know the tag game is like huge. Like, it's one thing to have a Twitter account. It's another to utilize it as for the tag game, because that's where you're going to really get that information out there with the kids and stuff. So, I mean, I know that's solid. That's hard.
It's hard, but here's a little tidbit that for anybody that's interested in the future. But for Jordan, we set it up on his phone. He has an iPhone, but you can do it on any phone in Notes with all the coaches' handles literally right there. So rather than having to figure out everybody's handles, he would go right to his notes, hit copy, and then go right to paste in Twitter, and he'd get 20 or 25 of them tagged at one time. Made it so much easier.
So what you did was you had pretty much all your tags already pasted up on something. So if you did something or achievement, you just kind of copy paste.
Yeah, I mean, Rodney helped me a lot out with that. I mean, that's not something that I just came up with, but I mean, he just emphasized being extremely organized, because I mean, that's your whole persona. I mean, these coaches have most likely never met you in person, so how you display everything about yourself is kind of how they see you from the get-go. So, I mean, if you have a sloppy Twitter page with just your name and nothing else and just a few highlight tapes or clips, I mean, they're not going to be super interested. So, I mean, and like with the tag game, like you said, I mean, if you're missing out on coaches, you're missing out on opportunities. So opportunity is the biggest thing. So I always try to keep it super organized, so it just makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Carroll's a Division III, right?
Correct.
So that's obviously like a real big, Division III's big on GPAs.
Huge.
So, and Mom, hop in on this because you know a lot more about the financial aspect of it all. So here you get your GPA. And what was your GPA at high school anyway?
I finished with a 3.5.
3.5?
No, it was 3.63.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah,
3.63.
Something along those lines.
I still have the transcript.
Hey,
so
like we'll get to that, right? So you graduate with a cumulative for over all 3 years of a 3.63, right? Is that what you're saying? And how much was that in value financially for Carroll?
It was incredibly valuable. I can't really emphasize grades enough. Grades are just that much important. They're just as important as how you perform on that field, if not even more important.
Right.
If you're a guy that goes to a school, just for instance, like an NAIA, I mean, you're building that scholarship. And with D3, you stack scholarships. So your academics matter so much to be able to lessen that cost. Because, I mean, college is expensive no matter where you go.
Right.
Most people can't just shell out $40,000 a year to take you to school. So, I mean, just having those grades, stacking those scholarships, along with athletic scholarships that you can get, I mean, it just makes it a hell of a lot easier for yourself.
So what, with your GPA where it was, how much scholarship money did you get per year?
So through D3, I mostly got a full ride.
Okay.
Basically, almost a full ride.
But the tuition at your school is like how much?
It's about...
It's $57,000 a year.
Okay.
That's everything. Because some people, when they hear scholarships or tuition coverage, they don't realize that there's added things,
Right, like
So,
dorms and everything.
housing, food, parking, all of that stuff. So everything in total it's just shy of 57,000.
And how much did they cover?
He's covered, it's cost out of my pocket for the year, fat zero.
So almost $57,000 off
Yeah.
of your grades.
And that's mostly grades, but FAFSA plays a huge part in that.
Yeah, you
and,
did
No,
get
and
okay, you got the
and
FAFSA.
stackable aid with
Right.
which my school they do that. Not every D3 school does that. You can stack your aid.
Right.
So it just became incredibly helpful through other athletic scholarships, but mostly my academics took up like 95% of that chunk.
So
And he got
huge.
scholarships from Sahuaro as well. I think he got 4.
So huge to do
Huge.
the grades. Just, I mean,
You can't emphasize it enough.
can't. Like, wow. Like, I mean, like, people don't get it. It's like, so what do you guys think would have been a big learning, like something that would have been tangible during your high school years to help you guys with this whole process of getting to a college that wasn't there, that you would have liked to see from your school?
More emphasis from the beginning. I didn't know that I was going to play college football till my senior year. I didn't take it that serious. Like, I always loved football, but I never took it serious. So my freshman, sophomore year, I didn't really take academics seriously. I had about a 2.8 GPA,
Right.
which really doesn't get you much in college, but I wish somebody would have told me way sooner and emphasized it a lot quicker that academics matter
day
so
one.
much more than the stats you put up on the field.
Right. Day one. Hey,
Yeah.
guys, look,
As soon as you come in,
I
just
love the
let 'em
fact
know.
that you guys are going to play football, but not only are we're going to be academically sound before we're football sound kind of thing. You,
Mm-hmm.
and then, do you think it helped you also playing other sports?
Of course. I just think taking academics that serious, just helps you, like, overall. I feel like it just makes you that much better. I mean, being a student athlete is not easy, especially in college, but even in high school it's not, especially being a student athlete in multi-sports.
Right.
So I think it helps out a lot, kind of keeps you organized throughout your high school career.
So
Yeah.
so Jordan's sitting here looking at freshman Jordan.
Mm.
What would you have told him? Like, hey, out the gate. Obviously, the school stuff. You just said that. Are you sitting there saying like, hey, be a gym rat?
Mm.
Are you saying make sure you're trying stuff like track or playing other sports? Are you telling yourself that if you're looking back at the incoming freshman you?
Yeah, I think playing multiple sports, testing out everything.
Right.
It doesn't have to just be football. Testing out everything, I think you really find what you're really interested in.
Right.
And even some different clubs and stuff like that, I think is really big. Challenge yourself academically is really big because it only helps you. I mean, if you're not going to go to college, I mean, it'll help you down the line.
Well, no matter what you do, if
yeah.
you're going to school, right?
So, I mean, that and yeah, I mean,
Do you wish that there was something placed in schools like a 3.0 club?
Absolutely.
Like seriously.
We talked about that before.
Yeah, we did. We have talked about it.
Yeah.
But like, do you wish they would have some kind of like encouragement to like, hey, look, guys, it's one thing to educate a kid because normally educating my children, I have 4 of them.
Right.
So like educating your kids is like, yeah, you really should do this. It kind of goes out the other air.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had like like some kind of award or potential gold club kind of thing like that, do you feel it would drive kids?
I think it would help. It's just, unfortunately, in my opinion, at this time, and I may catch flack for it, and I really don't give a shit.
Okay.
But unfortunately, at this time, people don't boast about the good things with kids, right?
Right.
There's not, and if you do, you're wrong. So I think that, they don't want to overpopularize the grades. They don't want to, put the kids up here that should be up here, should be looked at, and should be the ones that are setting an example for the younger grades coming in, right?
Right.
They don't do that anymore because it's a everybody gets a trophy type of system now. And so for me, I think we need to get back to that, to where we do need to recognize, and not because he's my kid, right? Like, he's
Right.
done with school. I'm not focused on that.
Right.
We need to focus on the kids that are doing good.
Which
we need
brings
to give them more of our time, more of our energy,
Right.
because everybody's like, oh, they're good kids, so they're fine. We just leave them over there. Well,
Right.
That's
it's
not
almost like we
working.
focus more on the troubled kids.
Troubled kids,
and
right.
those who like almost even the ones who just like if you're successful, like if you're not a problem, we're not going to focus on you.
Yeah.
If you're troubled, man, we gotta come up with new classes. We got IEPs. We got all this other stuff.
Right.
You know, let's justify why they're troubled, rather than sitting there and praising the kids that are actually doing well. Now, I don't have a problem with saying, hey, look, you have a problem. Let's work with you. I mean,
Yeah,
God
like,
knows.
I'm still
I
full
was
of
just
IEP
like
classes, right?
I have no problem like making myself a joke. I was a special ed kid. Like I had
Still are.
I am special ed still. But like I had a learning disability that I found out going into my sophomore year. I had a form of dyslexia. It was a retention disorder. I jumped through 3 different high schools, which made that so much easier. Like,
Nobody knows.
go to 3 different schools, you'll be better off, right? So, like, I had my personal problems and stuff like that, and it's really hard to find your foundation when your parents are just saying, "Hey, look, you know what? My kid's got a problem. What's the best move for me?" Because they have no clue. They're trying to feed you. They're trying to do all this other stuff. So by the time they figure out, "Hey, look, you know what? I need to maybe these are the things, or I need to exhaust myself into these things to help them," it's like high school's gone. You know, oh, okay. So fending for yourself from there. But I mean, it's just frustrating. You
Well,
know?
it is because utilize. Okay, so you have the good kids with good grades, right?
Right.
Utilize them.
Yeah.
Utilize them to help those who are not.
Tutoring, stuff like that, maybe?
Tutoring, having, we have the Big Brothers, Big Sisters programs, but we don't have that in high school, right? To where you have the kids
Smart
that
kids,
are
dumb
smart
kids program? What do you want to call it?
I don't know.
I'm just
Dumb and Dumber? Who
I'm joking.
knows?
It's a joke. It's
But
a joke. But
let them help,
no,
they're
I
there
get it.
because that is somebody that you want to look at and say, hey, you know what? They can help me. They can help
Right.
guide me through it. So
Well,
let the schools utilize
and
it.
typically when a child is academically successful, right? Those who struggle academically, they're going to lash out in different ways. Like you're not
Right.
cool, you're not hip. Like you probably took slack on certain things when you're studying, doing other things. I don't know, but I would assume it's kind of difficult sometimes to be not only successful on the football field, be successful in the classroom, and then still be socially, successful. I mean, it's got to probably be challenges across the board, which I don't, whatever those are. I mean, I missed 3 of them. I was probably successful at 1 of them, but that was probably about the best I ever did.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. But so being with all that said, as a mother, what did you do to help Jordan and his school out the time, of course, that you were involved?
Well, for me with Jordan, I'm a single parent, so I'm going to start right off telling everybody that. Been single parent from day 1 with him, and if you think single parents can't do it, I call bullshit, because you can, and he's a perfect example of the time and the effort that you put into your kids. For me, I didn't take any nonsense from him. He knew my rules. My rules were, you're going to have good grades because you're capable, right?
Right.
It wasn't, I'm going to force him to get good grades.
Right.
I know you're capable of getting good grades. Will I accept a C from you if you tried your hardest? Yeah, but we're going to talk about that because that's still not a good enough grade. Right. We're going to try harder. I was strict with him on curfews and stuff. He had his freedom. But I don't know. I guess I drilled into his head that he's worth it. He's worth it all, and he's worth more.
Right.
And to work really hard. As far as with the football, he never played a lick of football before 9th grade.
Right.
So he started.
So you started high
fresh.
school. You
High
didn't
school.
play like Pop Warner football,
Mm-mm.
and yet here you are playing, NCAA football,
Yeah.
Thank God. Yep.
right?
That was that was another huge part of it, and I know I had asked your permission if we could bring that up, but God played another role in it. And no discredit to anybody else who may not believe, but for us it worked, and it was a good foundation for him, and it kept him grounded,
Right.
and it's brought him to where he's at today. And for us, that's important. Our faith was important.
So let me ask: when you go into high school, right? We've already got the whole. You should be saying this to yourself, right?
Mm.
How tall are we? Give me some of your. Is my son walked in at 5'5".
Mm.
So how tall were you when you walked into high school?
I walked in about 5'8"-ish.
Okay.
So I had a big growth spurt about my junior year.
Right.
I was about 6 foot my sophomore year. So
When
not
your
a big
freshman
kid.
coach, was it Lucius?
It was Lou. Yeah.
It was no, it was Levi.
It was Levi first.
Yeah.
Which shout outs to Levi because
So,
Levi actually is a Carroll
Alumni.
alum. So so cool that you wound up at his. So is Levi sitting there like, Jordan's gonna be one of my studs? or was he like?
No, everybody thought
Who's that
Jordan
scrawny
was
white kid that
he
just
was
walked
a
out
drunk
like
giraffe. The way he
Nice.
ran, it was horrid.
You were a drunk giraffe.
I never got a ton of attention until my senior year after
Right.
putting in just tons of work. I was always just a skinny kid, just a guy that just a role player. You know,
Right.
I would do my role and we would win games and
Right.
lose games and whatnot. But I mean, it wasn't until my senior year or my junior year going into my senior year that COVID
the
spurt,
clicks.
you know, I had the time to really lock in and work on my mental state and physical state, and I got, you know, recognition my senior year.
You point out a good valid point. You had the COVID season.
Mm-hmm.
So how did that impact you?
Tremendously. I mean, for everybody, it was new. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody knew how to react to it.
Right.
It was all kind of on the fly. I was shortened to 3 games that season.
Right.
Unfortunately, we lost all of them, but you learned so much from that time. Like I said, I got time to work on myself physically, hit the gym a lot, you know, and get some speed training in with Coach Lou. Shout out to him. But then the mental game, you know, it was hard for everybody. With everything being shut down, you being secluded to your home, with the sickness going around that's killing everybody. It was just difficult, but it gave me time to work on myself, which, I mean, it sounds crazy, but I'm very glad that COVID year happened for me.
Okay.
I think it helped me a lot.
So you took it as like a time to self-reflect and kind of build off the COVID year because obviously you're not playing. Another thing that you kind of just mentioned too, you went 0-3 that year, right? You don't come from a program that's really a winning program at that point in time.
Right.
Like you guys, even your senior year, you went what? What was it?
We went 1-8 my senior year.
1-8. So it's not like I had to be on like one of the best teams in town. If you put in the groundwork, you actually got the opportunities to play at the next level.
Right.
But how was it in the morale of the school, right? So this is another thing that I'm really happy to see the regions kind of being broken up the way they are this year, where they have the stronger kind of teams placed in one region and the weaker in the division placed in another, is that like there's a lot of schools that go through defeat every week. Like, and it takes a strong athlete. It's easy to be that athlete on the team that wins all the time because, like, you can always put your hand up and say, "We got another one." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's harder to be those kids. Like, for instance, though, I want to say his name. I can't think of. Over at parents gonna hate me. Over at Catalina, you know, he was a part of the group too, of the Game Time kids. Can't think of the kid's name. But I don't think he won a game, maybe one his whole career in high school, and then he wound up going somewhere and playing.
Yeah.
Like how is the morale in the hallways going up and down a Sahuaro football? Like were the kids like, yeah, another weekend, or were they like, yo, y'all suck?
Yeah, I mean, my freshman, sophomore year, we were good. That was about the last time we've been good in a fat minute, you know, going to the Final Four and whatnot. My junior year, going 0-3, nothing in the halls because we were all online, but, you know, I have friends all around the school. Everyone's asking me, when are you guys going to win a game? You know, you're getting teased all the time because, you know, the team record they think reflects you personally as a
Right.
player. So, I mean, you always got that. And then my senior year, going 1-8, you know, the administrators weren't bought into it. They didn't really care about football. They never really had. The students that were supposed to be like in our student section that are supposed to be hyping us up, you know, we have no band. The students hadn't realized what a real high school football game is because COVID took that away from them.
Right.
So, I mean, they kind of grew up into an undershadowed kind of not knowing what to do.
So they're not echoing your freshman sophomore year
There was no football culture.
because that was when you were striving strong, so on and so on. But with the COVID season killing it, and then the 1-8 season being kind of that pattern, you know, I mean, you're literally telling me right now you went 11-1. You know, varsity years, right? For the
Right.
most part. Did
Yeah.
you play varsity your sophomore year?
Just on special teams, I was
Okay,
not.
so
on
so pretty
offensive
much your
defense.
varsity career was 1-11.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, obviously, spirits and morale at the school, like you said too, like the bands, they're non-existent. They don't even exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Because there's so much that goes
It was
into
pretty rough.
high school football. I mean, it's not just the team, but you got
Right.
the band, the student section, the
It's an
parent
atmosphere.
support, the administrators, publicizing the game. I mean, nobody at my time really cared about football because,
You know-
we sucked at the time. I mean,
you
that's
know what's
just
sad is that the atmosphere of the football game reflects the atmosphere of your school.
100%.
Because I think there's no other sport, none, in high school that reflects the school like their football programs. Like, I don't care if you're great at baseball. Who goes to the baseball games?
Right.
And I'm not just taking slashes at them.
Right.
Like,
It's
I'm
diff-
just
it's
being
so
real.
different.
Like, okay, your basketball, that might be like the second one. But like, if you're striving in wrestling, you're not having a big student,
Turnout,
section.
yeah.
Like that doesn't exist at a track and field event. It doesn't happen. So like the atmosphere, the culture of a school, the culture of the community, everything like that reflects to me off of the football game. So I mean, just to kind of hear how bummed out it was.
Oh, it got worse last year. I went to all the Sahuaro games last year, even though he wasn't there playing. I went to support the other kids.
Because it was hard again last year.
Yeah, I mean, I sat with you at one of the games, and
Right.
the amount of open seats in the bleachers was insanity. There was no.
But I mean, what is there to expect from a team that goes, 1-11 the last 2 years?
Right.
I mean,
You
nobody
still
wants
should
to
be
go to that.
supportive.
Well, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, we don't care as a student body, the kids that are remaining, that maybe their experiences were their freshman and sophomore year was your junior, senior year. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, our football team's always sucked.
Right.
They don't understand that once upon a time it was actually a great program, kind of thing like that. Talking about that too, I mean, you were involved with the Booster Club,
I wasn't on it, but I would help.
right?
I would help. I would bring the food. Like a lot of the time was in order to not have to work the snack bar, the option was you either donate food or you work the snack bar. And I went with donate the food every time because I wanted to be out to watch him play.
Right.
But yeah, I was involved in it, and we, I think his freshman year we had Shelly. She was great at boosters.
Okay.
She was wonderful. And then we went to, who did we have after that? We had,
I can't remember.
I can't remember her name, but she was great too, but it wasn't hyped up. Then we had Alicia Celentano. She did his senior year, and that was good. So the boosters for that time was really good. We had a
Right.
lot of involvement, but we just didn't get the help, right? Like it's the same parents constantly that would support a team of 100+ kids. You've got 4 or 5 parents that we're always the ones that have to pull it together. So
And
it
you
made
got,
it difficult.
and the crazy part is there's like, how many kids on your football team?
When
40?
I was a senior, we were about
30, 40?
50 to 60
Okay,
deep
50, 60?
at one point.
And we got 5 parents involved.
Yeah, feeding all those kids.
And then like I've had on a lot of the past shows is that we've talked about how important team meals were.
It's huge.
Because
For the
like,
morale.
I mean, this is a huge moment, not only for you guys to bond, but sometimes
It's the only meal
the meal that
kids
this kid's
get.
probably gonna get,
Right.
that kind of thing.
I think that's where it lacks though too, like we were talking about in regards to, I'm using Sahuaro because that's where he went, but the lack of morale out at the games and stuff, when you don't have that involvement, and it comes down to the boosters and it comes down to the team dinners and everything, when you don't have that involvement or that excitement, that falls off onto the kids on the field.
Right.
They know it, they feel it, they miss it. And when you have the same 5 or 6 parents that are constantly helping,
What?
it makes it hard. And it's sad for the kids whose parents that don't show up, right? And I get that not everybody could show up. I'm lucky I was able to make those arrangements. I swore
Right.
I would never miss a game. But not everybody's able to do that. But if you got to make the time. These kids, like, I don't know, maybe ask him, but it's hard now, like with him playing college ball, not being able to go see his games, that crushes my soul. But I watch it on TV every time. But I know for him, it makes a difference to look back over his shoulder and know mom's in the stand, or the people who love him or support him are in the stands. And for these young kids in high school still that don't have that, that's sad.
But in a different aspect, right? Think about currently like your locker room when you were at Sahuaro, okay? The conversations, the atmosphere, the ambience of the locker room at Sahuaro.
The smell.
Like the smell. It's like, okay, and the smell, or whatever the case is. But that experience to now when you're at Carroll, what is the atmosphere of that locker room? I mean, is it night and day difference?
Night and day.
Like, are the guys that you're with from Sahuaro, which ones made you feel welcome, more like a brother, like yo, this is us. We need to do this.
Yeah, when I went on my visit in April, I was already committed, already signed my letter of intent and whatnot. As soon as I got there, I was welcomed in with open arms from parents, coaches, all the teammates. I mean, just instant conversations like they had already known me.
Right.
So, and in the locker room, locker room talk, can get crazy, whatnot. At my school, everyone's bought in. Nobody has negative thoughts, sayings, anything. We're all locked in on just winning football, playing football.
And that's Carroll, the college, right?
Yeah. At Sahuaro, I mean, some guys are just there to be cool. Some guys are just playing football to say I play football, or my mom or my dad makes me play football. Nobody was really bought into winning, and I think the record that we had reflected that. I mean, not everybody had the same goals and the same path. And some guys, on rocky roads, we had a very young team,
right?
So that contributes a lot. The coaching used to be good when I played, was not good in those final years of that coaching staff. So, I mean, there's so much that goes on, and I think with the program that I was involved in, it all just reflected very well with the record that we had. So, I mean, the locker room talk just wasn't great.
So once again, it's a culture thing, like,
100%.
And I'm saying culture like of the school, like these kids need to buy in. People, like the community, everything. You got to buy into it to make it yours, own it, and then all of a sudden you'll reap the benefits of all that to kind of buy in.
Right.
Being that now that you've had your success, right, and you've gone off to Carroll, are you giving anything back to Sahuaro? Or do you want to go in there? Like right now, you're during your vacation time, right? Have you swung by? And I know Al over there wasn't really your coach.
Yeah.
He came your senior year, or no? Not at all. He was after.
Yeah.
So you haven't really gotten to work with Al and all those guys. But have you swung by and said, hey, this is my house. This is my house. I want to go back and maybe donate, like while they're doing spring training or training right now while you're home. You ever thought about like, hey, maybe I'll go swing by and help them out a little bit, or talk to the coaches? And
I thought about it. I mean, so much that I've learned within this year being in college. I mean, I've learned a ton of leadership stuff that I think, with my team that I played on my senior year had very little leadership, even from the seniors and underclassmen. So I think leadership is huge in football.
Right.
And I think I have some knowledge, sprinkled knowledge that I could give. I know Nathan, my best friend, his cousin's still on the team. I'll be doing workouts with him,
right,
and anyone else who shows up. I mean, I'm always willing to get work in with those guys. I've done it previous years, all throughout COVID. I've done it. I mean, I plan on stopping by and seeing what it's like. I mean, they changed a few things with the weight room and stuff. I want to get in touch with Coach Al for sure, because that team is something that I was a part of,
right,
and I think it's always cool to see them succeed. And whatever I can do to help them succeed,
I think
and my capability.
I think you stopping by and actually offering your time and stuff like that would help that culture.
Right.
I mean, you're a prime example of you can make something happen no matter where you're at. You can make a difference. So, like, I strongly encourage you to swing by and just say, hey, look, you know what? I'm just going to come by and lend a hand today. And if you need it tomorrow, as long as I'm here, before I have to go back, because obviously, when do you go back?
I'll be going back around late July 20th, 25th.
So you're during the whole time. It's like, go ahead, show some love back to. I mean, we were talking about the change of a culture. Be a part of that change.
Right.
And so I would love to see you go back and rock your Carroll gear like every single effing day you do it, because you should wear that shirt like a badge of honor. Honestly, I really feel like you should rock your Carroll gear and let those guys know, hey, my school exists. Everybody else, like, you can make a difference. You're a walking story, a living part of that chapter. Why not do that? You know what I'm saying?
For sure. I definitely planned on it.
Yeah.
Just getting settled in, got back about a week and a half, but it's definitely on my schedule.
You got to get back to the southern, like, Mexican food and everything else is here that's not up there. I know.
Not cheese curds.
Not cheese curds? Yeah, I got you.
Beer.
But, like, yeah, no, it's really cool that you have that chapter of your story that you can share.
We just talked about that because I just said that to him. I said, we were talking about some kids, and I definitely won't mention names, and nobody's doing terribly bad. But I did say to him that there were some kids that seriously looked up to Jordan and Cole Gerke. And now that Jordan, Jordan and Cole are gone off doing their thing, some of those kids have fallen back, right? And they're not where they could be.
Right.
And I said, they really looked up to you guys. You guys probably need to pay a visit and get up there and see if you can help out. And I mean, even if it's just minuscule, right? Like,
oh yeah,
you know, the littlest thing, just to see that it's possible. Just like he said, walk in with your shirt for those kids to see that it's possible.
Shake a hand, dude. It's funny, right? Why is it like? And granted, the Bijan deserves the
so happy for that kid.
Right. Bijan deserves the praises that he's getting, but you are on the same pedestal on certain levels. You might not have been that Texas guy or going off to the NFL or whatever the case might be, but you're doing things that a lot of these kids dream and hope that they'll be able to do. So just you walking in, shaking hands, saying, hey, look, you know, you become exactly what you said earlier in the conversation. You can become that voice to that freshman and that sophomore, like, hey, this is important.
Can we get past the D1 culture, though?
But you know what? I mean, I'll say this.
Nobody wants...
You also help that, too.
Yeah.
You can also help inflict, like, yes, there is the D1-itis, you know? But if I were to tell you to, like, you know what, don't reach for the stars. Just reach for, you know, the clouds. Like, that's not necessarily all the best. Like, yes, go ahead and always shoot to go, but let's not snarl at opportunity.
Right.
That's the thing that pisses me off. It's like, look, I get it. You know, everybody wants to be on, and we are ESPN brainwashed. I have no problem saying that. We're ESPN brainwashed. We want to be the teams that we see on Saturday, and you know, like, it's funny because my brother's a truck driver, right? And he's like, I found my college team. And I was like, well, okay, who is it? He's like, Roll Tide. And I was like, Alabama.
Why?
He's like, no, I just like Roll Tide. I thought it was funny as shit. So I'm like, he didn't care about football. He doesn't. But like, it's just ingrained into our culture, the schools, those top, you know, teams or whatnot. I mean, what kid when you were growing up didn't like Oregon? You know, it's like they got all the cool jerseys, Nike sponsors them, shit like that. Like, or even Arizona for that matter. Hey, Arizona. You know, it's like, okay, cool. You know, but who often, like, if I ask a kid typically, hey, do you know a Division II school near you?
No.
Nothing.
They don't have a clue. Or when you talk about, hey, what's Division III or NAIAs? Like,
I mean, I hadn't heard of NAIA before this recruiting process that I was in.
Right. So, like, I mean, you're talking about educating a kid that's not educated. We're saying, hey, look, don't know anything about D1, yet they don't know anything else but D1.
Right.
So it's there's always that angle. Like,
Which,
hey, look.
where that, like he said, that's where you would come in.
I mean,
Be
you
able to
you
teach
can
them.
come in and, like, you amongst others that have left, start a new culture, man. Like,
For sure.
like you said, Gerke's here in town, right? Is he back?
Yep.
Yeah, he's back.
He's playing somewhere. You guys rock up with your jersey. Show these kids, like, hey, You can do it. One of the problems, and it was funny, is because I was just watching David Adam. He was in here like doing a show on the other podcast or something like that. And one of the things that he had said was the reason why we and he was referring to it as a white to a black or whatnot. He said typically when you look at certain businesses or whatnot, sometimes it's hard for a minority to see themselves in that position because they don't see others in that position.
Right.
Remove ethnicity out of this, okay? Sometimes the kids at your school, at your in your community and so on, can't see themselves going to these colleges because they don't see people doing that. You can be an image of them that says, yes, you can do that. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's really important. I would love to see both of y'all, you and Gerke both, because a lot of people didn't think you guys was even going to be the ones that go off to college. But
And
you
they
went.
were the only two.
The only two,
Yep.
right?
Still standing from
Right.
Sahuaro.
So not only that, you didn't come right back. So with pride, I'm just trying to tell you, man, like for real, walk down to Coach Al and say, Al, I know I wasn't one of yours, but I was one of Sahuaro's. How can I help you?
Right.
Let me donate some time or whatever the case is. But like, I don't want to go too far in preaching on that. So let me ask you, just because I find this shit funny as hell. Being your mom, having your mom, and God knows you playing and having her as your mom for 4 years in high school, what was one of the most embarrassing ass moments that you ever experienced? Like, was she one of those moms that just embarrassed the shit out of you, or like I know I cuss a lot, so it doesn't matter.
It's like a secondhand embarrassment because where her and the rest of my family's from, they're very loud and outspoken and
that's
straight
truth
to
on
the
that.
point. So, I mean, if she saw any kind of flaw or anybody disrespected me or messed with me in the wrong way, it could be the administrator or somebody else. I mean, she voiced her opinion like immediately. It wasn't like oh, Jordan, what happened kind of thing. It was like a boom. So, I mean, I can't really think of one exact moment, but I mean,
He said I can't think of one.
He's treading
There's too many of
lightly.
them.
I mean, she did almost
Good
get
Lord.
ejected at a football
I
game.
did.
Did you almost get
Oh,
ejected?
yeah.
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 It was against, I think, Casa Grande.
It was. Yeah. 'cause
No,
I-
CDO.
I
It was against
cursed out,
CDO my sophomore year. I was on JV, and they had this junior that was on varsity, but because of grades, they made him play JV.
That makes
And,
absolutely no sense. But go on.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me either. But me and him were going at it for about the second half of the game, and
Right.
at one point he he was on offense and I was playing defensive end, and just held the shit out of me. And they threw a flag because I got up in his face, and she lost her shit. And he turned around in the middle of the game and told her if she does not be quiet, they're gonna eject her, and she has to
So
leave.
the ref did that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ref said, if you don't be quiet, we're going to have to eject you.
Well, yeah, but that's after I called them a fucking tool. So yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things that were said to him.
So he's hearing you.
Oh, he heard me the whole time. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Pansy, I
Gotta
called
love
him.
it.
I said,
Gotta
"Do you need
love
any
it.
more flags? Because you've run out." I mean, like, yeah. I said, you know.
It's laundry day.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
I love refs. I do love them. Like, actually, like, several of the guys are very
They
good
are.
friends.
It's a
I'm
tough
friends
job.
with Kirby. Kirby
Oh,
is
it's
awesome.
it's a
He's cool.
hard
You
job.
can't make anyone happy.
No, not at all. But it's even funnier when you got, like these loud, obnoxious mothers that you're sitting in the stand like, oh, my fucking God. Like, and,
I'm pretty
and
contained, like when he plays, because I'm
She
actually
has her
focused
moments,
on
yeah.
him. But when they get out of control, that's when I'm gonna open.
You know, and it's hard too because the one thing, like one of the crazy things, like I've had like a lot of guys like, well, why don't you stand on the sidelines? You know, why don't you do that? You know, where a lot of the media guys are or whatever. I said, guys, do you realize all the juicy juice up inside the freaking stand? Like I'm hearing everything. Like I know all kinds of details and stuff that I don't really want to know. And then plus people don't really know who the hell I am when I'm sitting up there. It's going to probably obviously end because like eventually people start knowing who I am. But it was funny because like I'd hear it all the time. That kid sucks. You know, goddamn that son of
yeah.
a bitch. Like, why do they have him out here at this
Bleacher
position?
smack.
Oh
we
my
had a lot
God,
of
like-
bleacher smack going on.
Oh my God! Like it's funny because like you sit there and it's like that's kind of one of the things that I like hearing from the moms is how do you hold your tongue? because they're sitting down there. That's the kid damn sucks, you know, or like, you know, you hear this like, oh my god, the quarterback sucks, or oh my god, the kid can't catch the damn freaking football while he keeps throwing it to him, or why do you keep doing the same play, and like all this shit in the stands, man. I mean, it's like a portal of crap that comes like there's something with a sewer tank just like right down into the bleachers
All
and shit. Like
couth is left at the
like,
gate.
it's
We don't bring
horrible.
any.
But it's funny, like, because I'm like sitting here going like, damn, you know, they were like, let's be honest, like, you know, they just do. Like, if you mess up, like everybody's a critic, but nobody's there to applaud.
But I will say, though, we may talk a lot of shit and say stuff about other kids playing and stuff, but let a kid get hurt.
Oh yeah,
Let a kid get hurt, and whether that's your kid or not, everybody stops.
right.
And we recognize, that's what I'm saying, we could talk shit all day long, but when a kid gets hurt or something along those lines, or even when a kid does really good that's not your kid, we will
Right.
praise them too.
Right. It's easy to be a bleacher critic.
It is.
But I mean, at the same time, it's like, yeah, you're right. I mean, the truth is, no matter what kind of story these kids go through or whatnot, like, because you guys went through the kid who got ran over by the truck.
Adam.
You know, nothing brings a community together like a moment, like a crisis or something like that. But the problem is like, why aren't we getting pulled together on just the crisis of what is every day?
Exactly.
Like, we need to make things better. We need to each teach one how to get better. And that's one of the things that I would really love to see, and why I'm trying to do these kind of things. Is like,
TUSD has a lot of work
well,
for that. And not just that, but I will say, as far as
go
back
ahead
to
and vent
the-
on TUSD. Let's go. Open it.
Back to the education department
Order it.
on TUSD. My son flourished, right?
Okay.
Thought he was doing, like, he had 4.0, not obviously when he graduated, like his, I think junior and senior year, he's 4.0 all the way through. He thought college was going to be a piece of cake. He's like, I got this, man, no problem. I'm 4.0. Well, he got his ass handed to him in college because it's not the same.
Do you feel the curriculums at TUSD did not prepare you for
Did
college?
not.
In a sense, yes, but to perform academically at a collegiate level, no. I mean, you get a general understanding of things, which helps. I mean, if you walk in with nothing, it'd be a lot worse. But with the foundation that I had, it helped me survive through college. Because, I mean, I didn't do bad. I mean,
Yeah.
my GPA is a 3.3 in college,
Right.
which is good. But I could have been a lot better had I been more prepared.
Let me play devil's advocate on my own self. All right. Do you feel that the curriculum has been toned down to match those in the community for the community to have success?
I think there's a lot of factors that go into the curriculum. I think with the lack of teachers that we have, the lack of motivated teachers, the lack of motivated administrators that want to help these kids, the lack of kids actually wanting to learn and focus in the classroom. I mean, there's just so much that goes into it.
I think they're all contagious amongst each other.
Sure.
Because if a kid is eager to learn, a teacher will be eager to teach. An admission will be able to be initiated to want to provide the things that teacher needs. And you see what I'm saying? So in all reality, we can point at the administration, we can point our fingers at the teachers, we can point our things at everything else, but it's each one of them taking that step. And the majority of those groups, right, the size of those groups is actually the students. So the more students that are actually involved in wanting to learn, let me put the seniority on top of them, because if they came in prepped, and this is not a high school thing. It's a kindergarten,
parenting
elementary,
thing.
and a parenting thing to educate and get our kids all prepared for each year to want to succeed. Then it becomes easier for all those involved.
Sure.
So, I mean, I'm glad that you threw the students in that conversation, because you were saying like, hey, look, we do have to provide an atmosphere
Yeah.
that these kids feel that you go to a new school, right? Like a Micah Mountain or something like that, and they have the new facilities, the new this, the new that, and that. You're going to feel like your atmosphere, your environment. So when a school district's environment does not give a shit, then it kind of tells the kids we don't give a shit.
Right.
And that's the biggest problem when I rant about TUSD. It's like, hey, look, we need to do simple things. You know, I'm not asking for, you know, let's, you know, go redo everything.
So for Jordan, he all of his high school years were here. I grew up in New York, okay? New York is where the state taxes pay for the schools, right? No ands, ifs, or about it, state taxes go for the schools. You don't walk inside a school in New York anywhere and find a trash school. It's beautiful from head to toe, okay? He's never been exposed to that. So he never had any understanding of it because he was out here, and previous to here, he was in Florida. So he's not been exposed to that
But our
type of school.
state taxes pay for our schools here.
No. It's paying for the superintendent's pockets as far as I'm concerned.
Okay,
They're
so
doing
what
better.
you're saying isn't that it does pay for the school, but how the school district
Utilizing
utilizes
it,
the money
right.
is the difference.
It's nothing the same. It's absolutely nothing
which
the same.
brings me back to the topic that we often talk about, which is when you go to a football game for TUSD, every school that is involved in TUSD, they collect the money and then they evenly divide it amongst 10 different
Wrong.
entities.
It's wrong.
Which I feel is completely wrong. And for those that don't know, what happens, or what I'm trying to say is this, is that if I'm at Pueblo, or if I'm at Tucson High, or if I'm at, you know, Sahuaro or Sabino or any of those, when you go to the gate and you pay your money to get into the school, that money does not go to the school directly. It goes to a TUSD pot, and then they divide it amongst their 9 schools and their athletic department. To the best of my knowledge, that is correct.
But I don't
to the
think
best
it's
of my knowledge.
divided equally, because if you compare the schools and who's got what,
Well, all the schools basically have the same shit.
there's some schools. Sabino's far
Just
better position.
kinda
than
That
depends.
might be their booster club, though. That might be other things that are donating to that program.
be.
Because, I mean, I will say this, is that the reason why they have a concession stand, or, I mean, a press box, is because I believe their booster club in the school actually did that. It's not that. And then the whole thing with the Tucson High field is because they actually it's through some kind of situation that they got that field.
But at least clean up what you got.
Well, can we
It's like
update certain
trash.
things? Like, it looks like a Sahuaro. I went and graduated in Sahuaro in 1993. It looks the same.
Same.
Yep, nothing's
It's dirty,
changed. The weight room is the
sad,
same.
It's depressing.
The newest addition is probably the basketball court. I mean,
Right,
the basketball court's nice with the bleachers and everything, but
Right.
field's the same, stands are the same, everything's the same, nothing's changed. So
He's got to see it now, being in Wisconsin out there, which is further east, and their schools out there are extremely well kept. Again, different state, different investment, but they invest in it, and out here they're just not. I mean,
Well, you got to look at Carroll. Like, they want kids to come to their school. So what do? They invest in the things that kids want, the shiny things, the football fields that's going to draw the athlete, the weight room that's going to draw the athlete, the
beautiful.
all
Campus.
the campus. You see what I'm saying? Because when I come and visit, I want to see things that are going to draw and make me feel like this is where I need to be.
right.
I'm investing in this school. It has to be. So why are we not doing that in our schools? Is the public schools here, our high schools? Which is my next question. Is like, why aren't we? Why are we not investing in like the football field? That's what draw kids to their football.
I think it's too broad of a question
Oh yeah, absolutely.
to be answered like directly.
Yeah.
I think there's
No,
just
you're
so much that goes into it.
Political.
And with Sahuaro specifically, I really couldn't answer your question as to why we haven't made these changes. Because my senior year, we tried to raise enough money to get a turf field, to get a press box, to get all those things. We just couldn't. I mean, we get about, I think, 5 footballs a year from the school. That's it.
Right.
well,
Nothing
let me
else.
talk about that, because we could have used money towards the new field and whatnot, but the decision was made to buy these new uniforms that are not. They weren't even allowed to be used. Okay, so we spent 8-something grand, if not more, 10 grand, on gray uniforms that have not been worn again because they're not allowed. Whatever the terminology is for it, I don't know, but it didn't meet the statute for AIA, and they were not. That's not our school colors. So we bought uniforms and
I would
helmets.
question whether or not it's the AIA or if it's a TUSC.
It probably
field.
both, but all that money was spent on it, money that we raised as parents from his last year, and
Right. Never
so-
won.
Never wore them. No, and
Well,
they can't.
We
wore
did
them once, but I'm saying this year they haven't worn them.
We wore them a couple times my senior year. I didn't really, due to me being in my season and with academically, I didn't watch a ton of games from Sahuaro this last year, so I can't really speak on if they did wear them.
Right.
But I do know that, we did spend a ton of money on new uniforms, which was needed. I mean, when you're wearing uniforms from before the 2010s, it's not really ideal.
Right.
So it was a good thing to get that. But there's just a long list of things that need to be bought and paid for through that school.
And I'm going to hope that, obviously, hands have changed now at the head coach situation. And I'm not saying it was a McKee negative, but now that things have changed over, hopefully Al will take things and run with them and make them better. I think he tends to put the right coaching staff around over there. I think he's trying to do his best that he can. I'm a fan of Al's. I mean,
he's a great guy. I like him. I think he's bringing so much to the table for these kids. My opinion.
And I was a fan of McKee to certain levels. I mean, I can't bash on somebody who's spending their time and with the kids, even though we can sit there and critique them.
I mean, at one point, he was a coach of the year. So,
right.
I mean,
we can always find flaws in everybody, and I'm not.
And his hands were tied too. I will defend him in that. His hands were tied.
I will not. I'm not. It's not my job to bash on people or anything like that. But what I want to do is obviously my whole thing is to just try to uplift him. One thing that I do always want to say is this is like we could be doing simple things that makes everything better. One of my big preaches and complaints have always been rosters.
Oh, God.
Like, get the rosters for these schools filled out,
I
right?
had to do that last year because I did their social media and stuff, and the rosters were wrong every time. Every time. Rosters were wrong, numbers on the jerseys were wrong.
Stats were a big thing. I mean,
Kids'
I've
names
never
were
returned a
wrong.
punt in my life, and I had about 260-something punt return yards, which is cool. I mean, it's cool to tell people that, but
wait a minute.
I don't return punts. So, I mean, stats matter to a certain amount. College coaches look at that stuff.
Well, and some do, some don't. Like, we can always do the half empty, half full kind of thing. But what frustrates me too is like you got recognized for a long snapper, second team, first team long snapper for your region, and you snapped the ball how many times?
I mean, all season up until the point I got injured, but it was more so not because like I did good at that. Because, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know you can be good at long snapping. That's why there's NFL long snappers and whatnot. But, I mean, that was more so because I didn't get to finish the season, so it was like a sympathy kind of thing, like we feel bad for you. So Coach McKee really pushed to get me recognized in some way.
On hands, it was actually a great gesture, but at the same time, it wasn't really a true gesture.
Right.
I mean, is that fair to say?
Yeah,
Accurate.
100%.
But I sit there and I think sometimes when we're doing these assessments, like, hey, look, it's like I think sometimes what we're doing is just trying to put names in a hat and just kind of plug them into things that are kind of close to what they did. Like
You need to be plugged for the work that you've done, right?
I really want to say, hey, look, man, sometimes we got to really make these achievements rather than, those kind of things.
Well, look at Cole Gerke, also known as Nate Gerke. He had the highest stats for tackles. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jordan. But he had the high, and I know this because I was posting him
For Sahuaro.
For Sahuaro in his senior year, and he didn't make first teams. He was an honorable mention.
We need to
You need to
do
bring
better.
that.
We
That's
need
what
to
I'm
do
saying.
better.
Bring it up.
We just need to do better. And it is what it is on that.
Give it where it's earned is all what I'm saying.
Right, I get you.
Earn it.
I get you. And trust me, I get it. It's frustrating because like there are parents that'll turn around and they'll hit me up like, hey, what the hell? How does this really work? Like this doesn't make any damn sense. And I got to sit there like, I wasn't there.
Right.
It has nothing to do with me. I regurgitate information. I don't know. Like, does that make sense to me or not? No. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. But it's not. I'm not a part of that council. The selective on that process.
No, but it's back to the trophy mentality again.
Well, I can agree with that, and I can say, yeah, you're right. It is a little bit of trophy kind of situations and stuff like that. But I mean, You know, we need to do stuff to plug these kids better,
Absolutely.
like in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And TUSD needs to be a huge part of that. And the coach, some of the coaches too. Get these kids. Al, I will say that for Sahuaro, Al has been helping the kids get seen, and get like one of the young gentlemen, Kingston just got an offer. Kingston to Arizona Christian University, right? No recruiter, but Al's helping him do that.
Right.
So that's great.
I was
That's
just
what
with
coaches
Kingston.
should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
I was with Kingston yesterday.
Yeah, good.
And it's
kid.
funny because he comes up to me and he kind of like, hey, and, you know, starts talking to me. And I'm sitting there going, all right, like, let me take you to 101 camp. And this is where I go back to that whole thing. It's like, we're not teaching the kids that the most important part of the camp is actually the end of the camp.
Yep.
You know, it's great that you go out there and you got the T-shirt and you're running and all that stuff. But if you're not talking at the end and going, hey, look, you know what? Hi, my name's this. I'm here at this school. Da da da. Oh, can I get your information? And then exchanging information, getting those Twitter accounts, getting him the coach to follow you, and then building that relationship from that day. Like taking the picture. I remember, like, I must have told 5-6 kids out there last night. You're like, hey, did you get pictures? Why do I need pictures? I said, because if you don't got pictures, it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It never happened. So yeah, you need to go out.
That's what I told him when we first started doing the camps. I said, if you bring your ass back to these bleachers and you don't have contact names, phone numbers, business card, Twitter handle, or have taken a picture, don't come back. Don't come back.
Because
you got to stay out there.
I mean, it's so vital. I mean, if they don't know who you are, I mean, if you do the break and you go back up to the bleachers and go home, they never know who you are. I mean, you can try and hit them up on Twitter, but I mean, if you directly go up to them, shake their hand, talk to them, talk a little bit about their program, I mean, you're showing interest,
right.
And now they're interested in you. Right. This person's interested in my program, now I'm going to be interested in him. I mean, it's a two-way street. If you just think you're just miraculously going to wake up one day and they're just going to, all these coaches are going to love you. I mean, you're just feeding yourself.
Well, it's funny because I had a kid come up to me and he was like, I said, did you get your pictures and information and stuff? No, I didn't do well. I didn't do well at all today. I was like, you think they remember that? Mm-hmm. They don't remember. Like, unless you stood the hell out and they were like I want this kid and I want this like so bad. Like, if you're not that kid, they don't remember. So I was like, so go make them remember. Go up and ask. Go say, hey, did I find out that information? And it's all about building relationships once again. Mm-hmm. If you're not going to go build a relationship, cool, stay home. Because all you're doing is taking reps away from a kid that wants to build a relationship.
Exactly.
So you're not serious. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're going to roll your, man, I don't know why I'm here. Shit, what's the point of me being at this camp? Then stay home. Mm-hmm. Save your mom and dad the money. You know, you could
save your energy for a video game.
Yeah.
Because it does. It comes down to grades. It comes down to the box that you're in.
Yep.
And it comes down to your social capabilities. And can you socialize and mingle with these coaches?
If you ain't hungry, get out of the freaking buffet line, man. That's because you know how it is. You get it to, like, you remember this too. Don't tell me you don't either. So you get up there and you're at the camp, right? And you're in line. Tell me that one of them son of bitches won't come up and just take your rep.
Yeah.
They will take your rep.
It's a huge thing. I mean, the first couple of camps, it took me a minute to realize, you know, reps are so valuable. And in camps, big camps like the Lake Forest camp and some other camps, you may get 1, 2, 3 reps.
Oh, yeah, there's 700 kids out there.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you're not fighting for those reps, and I mean, like, physically putting yourself in that position to get those reps, you'll never get them.
Nope.
You're just wasting your own opportunity.
I love that, dude, because, like, it's true. Like, you're that parent, right? Yeah, I'm creating, right? I'm trying to create the moment here. Your parents is up there and they got the little, and wait for Ricky to go, all this other stuff, right? And they wait and they wait. Oh, he's coming up. He's coming up. No, maybe next time. Okay.
Here comes David.
Okay, wait.
Not my kid.
No, it's like, and all of a sudden your son starts moving back in the line. Like, it's like, how the hell is he not going? Like, why isn't he going? Because the parents are sitting there, like, because they're like, you know, they're waiting, cameras rolling, all that stuff, right? And then your ass don't go, and it's like, they don't understand. It's like, yo, them motherfuckers just took my shit. Mm-hmm. Hell yeah, they just took your shit.
How many times did I yell at you for that? I said, get your ass to the front of the line.
A lot.
And go.
But I mean, even getting those reps is always good, but it also shows confidence. Like, if
cocky little
you
son of a bitch.
You should always be very confident in your own game because, I mean, it spreads. I mean, when coaches see this guy, even if you're not the best athlete in the world, if you're showing confidence in your own game and willing to learn, because they're teaching you these things as you get these reps. If you never go, you're never getting taught.
Right.
You're never running through refining your own game.
Thank you
So
for that.
it shows so much confidence stepping up. And, you know, a lot of these camps, like the U of A camp that I went to twice, you're going up against JUCO guys.
Right.
My first rep was against a JUCO safety that ended up going on D1. I could have easily just been like, nah, I'm going to leave that for the other guy. But I was confident enough to say, I can learn something from this. I ended up winning the rep, and I learned a lot. So, I mean, it's big showing confidence and willingness to learn to these coaches. They recognize it immediately.
Well, and I get frustrated too because like there's little things you can do to stand out. Okay, one thing I hate is the accessory kid. Okay,
I know a few of those.
The accessory kid.
No comment.
And love you, parents. I love you to death.
No comment.
But I had a kid, like, we was watching them yesterday, and I'm sitting with a coach. I mean, not a coach, but one of the parents. Actually, a Sahuaro parent. I'll tell y'all who later.
Pretty sure I know.
So I'm sitting with him, and we're watching these kids. I said, son of a bitch. I said, look, the kid right here, he's got a hat on. What the hell you got a hat on when you're in an audition? You're here for a resume audition, right? You trying to get a job. That's what you're trying to do. You got your hat crooked. He's doing his little thing and so on and so on. I was like, good Lord, don't let me see some ski goggles. And don't let me see something else out here. Like, it is not a 7-on-7 tournament. Now, those are different. Go ahead and have fun.
A little bit, but I still have my opinions on those.
Those are still frustrating to me, too. Don't get me wrong.
The face paint, and the whole shebang.
I mean,
God.
Now, there was a different thing, right? So my son, he would always wear a hoodie. So they called him the hoodie kid, right? He was his hoodie. Now it would be July.
Hoodie.
I never it was funny as coach because funny as hell because Coach Pat Nugent come up to me, right? He goes, "Is he wearing a hoodie? It's July." And I was like, "Yes, Coach." And then when they were done, he was like, he come over and he took the hoodie off and pulled a different hoodie out of the bag and put the other hoodie on because the other one was sweaty. So he switched them.
Right.
And we're looking, I'm like, are you seriously wearing a hoodie? And it's funny because Toby Bourget came up to me and goes, your son was the hoodie kid. I said, yes. Like, my son would repetitively go to camps wearing hoodies. But do you know why he wore hoodies?
Because they saw him in a hoodie.
No, not at all. My son wore hoodies all the time because they covered his arms and he was embarrassed of how skinny his arms were.
Oh, really?
So he wore it out of like a whole like uncomfort situation. He wore the hoodie because he was unconfident about his arms.
Right.
Because I mean he became a long big kid, tall kid, so on. So like he would wear it to cover his arms. But everybody would know him as like, he's a hoodie kid. It was like, yeah, he's a hoodie kid. But and then he started getting really well recognized to some because they would be amazed on how he'd catch these balls. It's like, what the hell? But he wore the hoodie to cover his arms. Now he doesn't wear hoodies anymore, which is
that's good.
I mean he's a hell lot bigger now. But it was not like a trait that so it's one thing to have traits like that. All right, you're not confident about something. I get that. But if you're rocking the sunglasses and stuff, you're trying to draw attention to yourself. And by God, if you draw attention to yourself, you better fucking back it up. Yeah. If you're wearing all the, there was a kid, God bless you, Mike Masunis, I'm going to say this. Do you know who Mike Masunis was?
Yeah,
okay, so I love Mike Masunis. He's actually now over at New Mexico State, right?
Good for him.
Went to Hamilton, all that other stuff. But when he was younger and he would go to... he would play 7-on-7. I would call him the ornament kid because it's almost like he went to Dick's Sporting Goods and bought something out of every aisle and wore it. Like he had the Oakley gloves, anything. anything you could attach yourself. Like he was was it called the Centurions when they were like when we were young, the little guys that had the like clamps on. I don't know if you ever watched that cartoon, but there was a thing called Centurions, and like it would assemble all the things they would need for certain like adventures or whatever cases. Yeah, he was a mohawk. But I mean, he grew up to be a hell of an athlete, you know, obviously or whatnot.
Sure. I mean, it's one thing to look good, feel good, play good. But I mean, there's always that. But it's like,
but you can't be wearing every ornament on the tree.
Like talking to some coaches, I mean, it kind of shies them away sometimes because you get seen as a materialistic kid.
Gotcha.
And if you're a materialistic kid, I mean, that just kind of brings a lot of other problems that I don't know the philosophy behind it, but coaches just figure that just doesn't correlate well with football.
You're drawing attention
I mean, if
to
you're
yourself.
worrying too much about yourself, how are you going to ever worry about the team?
Right.
I mean, I wear a few things. I mean, I don't really do anything crazy, just wrist tape or whatnot. But I mean, I'd never put on like the arm sleeve with the Oakley glasses and the war paint all over my face.
The face mask
the calf
that goes
sleeve.
up underneath
I
your
mean,
helmet.
whatever helps you play to the
it.
best ability. But I mean, like you said, if you're gonna wear all that, and you're gonna bring that attention, you better
be
perform.
ready. It's better, and then they got their 7-on-7 helmet all crooked. And it's not even strapped, and it's like falls off every time they play. Yeah. That's hilarious. I love you guys. I love I love my 7-on-7 guys. Nah, but what else? Like, is there anything else that you guys are thinking, or no? Like, what would
Covered a lot.
I know we actually did. We covered a lot of things.
We did.
I'm like sitting here trying to find out like how long we've been going.
I don't even know.
Ooh.
About an hour.
About an hour, yeah.
Been about an hour.
So let me. I will ask you this: like, you arrive. I mean, obviously, Carroll being a good distance in Illinois, right? Wisconsin, my bad, right next to each other. The experience, like the dorm rooms, the what's your day like? I mean, give me how did you get your feet wet over here?
Yeah, so you show up and you immediately start fall camp, which is the most fun I've ever had playing football, ever. I mean, it's football all day. I mean, you're like an NFL athlete. All you know is football all day from 7 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
Which is an experience that you don't get in high school. But when you get to college and you get to fall camp, it's really, really unique and interesting. It sucks. It's hot. It's humid out. You're running around. It sucks when you're doing it, but it's cool to look at it after. But, I mean, you're in a dorm room with another person, and me growing up, it's just been me and my mom, so I've always had my own room. So it's interesting getting that experience of having a roommate. Hopefully, if you do go to college, luck out with a good roommate.
Right.
Because sometimes you get very bad, messy roommates. But that was interesting. And, I mean, just the whole college life, I mean, you're very independent. So everything you do, mom's not there behind you or dad's not there behind you, guiding you all the way. I mean, you're just kind of let loose in college, which is
So what helps with the motivation for school?
With school, I mean, just knowing that, I mean, there's obviously a standard with my team, a certain GPA we have to meet. But, I mean, she pushes me a lot, and my whole, I'll just call it a team of people.
She's some hot 100 miles away.
Yeah.
Hundreds of miles away. How is she? I know she pushes you because she's on the phone,
yeah.
But, like, you still got to find that inner motivation to do it, right?
I mean, just to not let myself down, not let down, like I was saying, the team of people around me.
Right.
I wouldn't say it's so much expectation, but in a way it is. I mean, she expects me to be great because she knows I can be great, if that makes sense. So, I mean, me personally, I know I can be extremely great if I just work hard enough to do it. And if I slack off academically, that helps me slack off football-wise and physically and mentally. I mean, I'm just going to become a bum if I just don't do what I need to do. In my eyes, so that's how I see it.
It's good that, like, for instance, you just kind of just go throughout the day.
There's no matter where you get with success, there's always room for improvement.
Right.
There's always opportunities to get better, and never settle is kind of how I see it. I mean, you can always do one more of something, one more rep, one more assignment. Just keep pushing, get through your day.
I really hope you go over and inspire some of your Sahuaro, like your kids. Like,
Yeah.
I really do. I really hope you call up, like, after here or whatever, call up Gerke and go, hey, look, man, let's go help them out, like, throughout the summer. Like, I really, and dude, hit me up and let me know. I will come. And, like, if I got to, like film it, shoot it, I will come and show some support as best the way that I can.
For sure.
Because, like, I want to see the change. And it's really important for kids to hear your story and the struggles and everything to prepare themselves because they don't know. Like I'm sitting up there, it was funny as hell, right? I go to Adams State with Caleb and we go into the dorm room. And first thing I want to do is turn on the AC. I'm one of those people, like, there got to be a fan turning or something. I can't have, like, still rooms. Like, in there, if the AC wasn't pumping, I know it's off right this second, but like, if it's not, like, I go nuts. I just
You
don't.
wouldn't be able to survive menopause, buddy.
Well, you know, that's why I'm a woman. I identify. That's the. Yeah. Anyways, stop it. You need to stop it. But, like, we go in there and I'm like, where's the fucking AC? And I go and I'm looking and I'm like, this thing's broke. It don't work. You know, blah, blah, blah. And I realize they don't have one.
They don't.
Didn't either.
So you guys go out and you get the little box fans and you put them in the windows, right? See how, like, I'm like, this is so randomly weird for me because I've lived here for a long time. So it's, like, real interesting to hear the stories. Like, you guys, hey, what did you find? What did you do? How do you prepare a kid or a parents, you know, when they're ready to move their kids off into a dorm room? You have so many pieces of puzzles. And that's how I started So AZ in the first place, is as I was learning the pieces of puzzle, I was bringing them out to the parents. So don't let me or anybody else down by not sharing your stories. Because even though you might not be a Bijan or something like that, you have elements of the story that we could all enjoy and learn from you. So, like, seriously, like, hey, look, I know it was hard, but I needed to get a job right away. If you needed a job, I mean, obviously you don't need one necessarily. You're a lot more focused on the school, but some of these kids.
No, he worked while he was there.
So you're working? Where were you working?
As an assistant for the athletic training group.
Oh, okay.
So I would work some sports
So
games.
something within the campus and the department.
It's a work-study job. They give you a scholarship for it.
So what are you going to school for anyway?
Criminal justice with a minor in psychology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you planning on coming back to Tucson when you're done, or are you?
Yeah, I do plan on coming back for a little bit. It's kind of way out. I mean, throughout my whole high school, I planned out going through high school and college. I got that far. Planning out for life is a lot harder than it is for college.
Stop
So it's way hard.
I don't want to hear that shit.
So I don't really know where I'll be, but I'm sure I'll come back because, I mean, my biggest dream is to coach, and hopefully one day I can coach for a Sahuaro maybe down the line,
Right.
which would be cool. But
You might not want the job.
Tucson would be somewhere I'd probably come back to for a little bit. I don't know if I'd stay.
Right. And, you know, and yes, give back to the school. Like, and that's why I'm saying, like, even right now with the whole thing I keep telling you to do, is if you're doing it and we could get some of these other people like Makai, who was just on here, he goes out there and he comes back to visit his parents, give back to Sunnyside. That could become one of the coolest parts of the year, could be summer. Why? Because I get to hang out with some of the old alums that have gone off to play football. They're teaching me all this stuff. They're telling us how important school is. They're making a change in our community. So be that change, man.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the biggest thing for me. But other than that, were you kind of winded out?
I mean, this is your show, so.
Actually, it's not.
No?
It's your show.
I guess, if you put it that
It's
way.
yours and your mom. I'm trying to, like, showcase mom. It's like, mom, we already kind of went over. She has some little. You have any stories? Like, what's your best mom story on here?
Keep it PG.
Hell no. We don't do
For
PG.
football?
Yeah, what was one of your, like, oh my God, I remember one day, like, I come down off that bleacher and pull Jordan by the back of his neck so quick.
I have. I mean, there was a couple, because I'm aggressive. I'm in a very
Stop.
aggressive, a very aggressive
You wouldn't
person.
understand menopause.
And he does have a lot of my traits, but he's much more contained than I am. which I like. I appreciate that in him. He's definitely able to contain that. But he's come off the field a few times, and I've grabbed him by the collar. I'm like, why didn't you just fucking pancake them? Like, smack them. What were you doing? And he's like, Mom, my job line stops here. This is like, that wasn't my job. And I was like, I don't care. Like, you could have just smacked the shit out of him. Why didn't you do that? And he's like...
In the beginning, she didn't really understand football.
I'm like, just take him out, you know?
So she thought I should just be killing everybody.
Because that's what I played basketball, and I was a center, and
Because you're a tall lady yourself.
I was very aggressive. They nicknamed me Animal. Well, I was over 6 foot, and as you age, Chris, which you will soon find out, you shrink.
You're not older than me by much.
I think I am.
Well, how old are you?
50.
No, we're freaking the same age.
Oh, are we? All right.
Since when you get to my age,
Well,
it's
you
like,
shrink.
When you
So
get as fat as I do, you
just
start
take it as a
shrinking over
compliment.
earlier.
Oh, I think
you
I'm
know
like
what? You know what I want to
5'11"
hear.
now,
The moment you
5'10".
start weighing more, you start kind of like going in all the directions the same way. It's like you're kind of like hunched over. It's like
You
know,
do? Well, but
yeah.
yes, I think I shrunk a
Shut
little
up!
bit.
I don't want to hear that shit.
But yeah. I mean, I played sports too all my life, but I was just very aggressive,
Right on.
extremely, and he's very well contained, and he does good with that. He can
Well, I want to say
get angry.
I'm so proud of you, man.
I appreciate it.
Like, I know I was there at your signing thing and everything else, but in all reality, I know Rodney helped you a lot and so on, but you helped
right
yourself a lot by doing what you were asked to
Right.
by him and so on. But so it is nobody can do the schoolwork except for you. Nobody could give you the opportunities you got except for you. So, hats off to what you were able to achieve.
I appreciate that.
So I want to see you succeed. Come back. Obviously, let us know where we can stream, and feel free when you go to a stream of his to tag, post
tag
it
it,
up
okay.
on Facebook and tag me on it,
Got it.
because then everybody who's maybe flipping is like, well, let me go check this Carroll school out and watch that Carroll. And I saw that Levi kind of chimed in, Rodney chimed in, and I'm trying to see who the other one is. I can't read it. Diego somebody. I don't know which Diego that was. But yeah, so we'll get more. A lot of people were kind of coming in and out, but a lot of people watch these afterwards. So
Yeah. It is Sunday. People are
heck yeah.
doing family and God things.
I know I got to go to I am going actually to a graduation party thing
Good for you.
that somebody invited me to, who's off to, I believe, Adams State.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
So
Good deal.
he was one of Rodney's kids as well.
Congratulations if you do watch this.
Yeah. So it's cool. I know, I get invited to some, and if I'm all over the place, sometimes I forget. So I tell these parents, please remind me of your guys' events, because I do forget them. But other than that, guys, yeah, another great show. I was glad to
Thanks for having
hear
us.
kind of
Yeah,
your
appreciate
guys'
your
stuff.
time.
Oh, don't worry about my time. I'm taking yours. But other than that, you guys good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. See you guys. We're out.